You will learn this when we have the spears next week. So.
Honestly, we found no problems with the rattan. Maybe taking the rattan spears, maybe instead of about 1.5 inches, and keeping the same, and maybe a little bit more padding at the head. And honestly, I feel more comfortable with people doing that than the blades at the end of a stick.
But the blade at the end of the stick is going to be just as safe as this. Okay. The problem with the closed cell stuff is you're going to want padded armor, which we don't have standards for.
Yeah.
Because they use that in HEMA all the time, right? That's the basic spear standard in HEMA.
One more call?
Well, only if they have their own wasters at this point.
It's so that they can come watch.
Yep, if people want to come and watch.
I have a problem with trading out.
Okay. So, this is the spear. Obviously, we have the shaft, and we have the pointy end. That's what you need to know about the weapon. It's completely point work in period terms, and I will be completely honest. I had great dreams of going through the translation of Marazzo I've been doing and drawing out all of the spear technique, but of course, I have too many other things to do. So this is essentially a course nicked from the basic teachings of Greg Millet out of the Chicago Swordplay Guild. He's been doing a lot of work with the 16th and 17th century military manuals, not the fencing manuals. But hopefully some thoughts on this will have people start going back through Degrassi and going, he has a section on polearms, what can we draw out of that? Okay, so I still haven't memorized this course completely, and I have a syllabus here which is available at the end of the class for anyone who wants it. Includes yes, I know. And you can email me and I can send it to you. And we've already started the class because I told you about the half and the 20 bit. All right. So, there are essentially two ways to hold the spear. Backhand's going to want to be on top. Front hand's going to want to be underneath. Sometimes. You'll also find, with the front hand guard, there are certain positions where you're going to want the thumb back. So you have the thumb forward or the thumb back. It can change at various times. This one you'll find, the high guard, will be one that you want the thumb forward. Please bear in mind that we have the fluorescent lights, and we won't be doing any of this. Everything will be below your head. So try to keep the tip below your head. All right. Basic stances. We're going to practice a couple of the basic stances. Essentially, it's a three-legged stool. The spear takes the void left by the legs, right? So that you're doing things on this side, your feet will be like this, but also everything that we're talking can be done on the other side as well. Okay? But the spear takes in the void of the three-legged stool. That make sense? Okay, so we have our basic stance, which is kind of a relaxed, kind of boxing stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Same thing on the other side. This is our basic stance for all of our combat work. However, we're going to start with some basic drill technique, which is the rest. So we're going to have 1 foot slightly in front of the other, and that will be the foot on the same side as the spear. The spear will come into the foot, and the arm will just relaxedly stand out to the side. This is at rest, and what we're going to do is we're going to transfer to the rest on the left, and we're going to step our foot forward slightly, bring the spear across, put it in place. And we're going to fall to the right rest, going backwards, left rest forward. That's a good drill. And relax, keep it out. Yeah. Because this is the way you're supposed to stand when you're guarding the gate, right? And this is why you have a right and a left, so that one guy standing there right, the other guy on the other side of the gate will be on his left, so that you match sides. Okay, so back to your right rest. Once again, I will point out everything we're going to be doing can be done on the left side, but I'm only going to do it on the right for the sake of brevity of the class. So from here, we're going to learn to fall into our first basic guard. Let me just make sure I'm adhering to my... Yes, I am adhering to my course notes. So, from this position, we're going to fall into our basic low guard, which is pretty much the elementary guard of everything that you're going to be doing. So what's going to happen is we're going to bring a spear across and grab under our hand that's already on it, and we're going to step back as we bring it forward. Now the way that you want it The backhand wants to be somewhere on the rear quarter of the spear.
Not the butt end.
Not the butt end, we're not allowed to do this, and I will be pointing out the techniques that we are allowed to use in combat and spear currently, and those that we aren't. But I didn't say to put it on the end, I said to put it somewhere on the back quarter. And the front end of the spear wants to be slightly behind the balance point. Now I don't promise that these are perfectly balanced. So it's somewhere slightly behind the rear half. The mezza, the middle of the spear. So, with that stance, we want to make sure, let's have people pair off. So you pair off with her, you come over here on this side, you can pair off with me. Alright? So what you're going to want to see is you're going to want to see the spear towards the outside of the outside shoulder. Right? So you want to see that spear tip up there. Right? You want to see your spear tip right here. Yeah, you've got a good wide stance. Good wide stance, right? You have to give yourself room to be able to do any of the maneuvers to pair it. Now, the other thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that you have room at the back. So you need to have the hand clear of the hip. The hand has to be clear of the hip because you may want to choke up on that spear and bring it a little more forward. Say that. Gives you a little more room to work. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, get the hand out from the hip. Because all the basic actions that we're going to be doing involve bringing that hand back into the hip. Does that make sense? So you need to have room on this side in order to bring the weapon across in order to defend, and you need to have room for your hand on the hip in order to be able to maneuver the weapon. So it's across your body. It's not kind of in line, it's actually across. So this is our basic low parry, our basic low guard. And we're just going to do a little exercise. We're going to go back into rest on the right side. Bring your feet a little closer together. There you go. All right, and then we're going to go back to low guard. Get your hand out from your hip. This is the hardest part of it, is making sure that you got that hand out of the hip, from the hip. Yeah, you got to give yourself room to move. Good. Get your hand out from your hip. All right, and once more, back into right rest. Back into low guard. Everyone got their hand out from their hip? Know what's going on? All right. So from here, the next guard is a high guard, and this is the one that you're going to tend to want to put your thumb back for. You can do it the other way, but it feels a little more awkward. Either is fine. What you're going to want to do is this is going to be aimed essentially over the inside shoulder of your opponent. So, yeah, it's a straight line. So you're going to want to see that. Bring your hand down, say la. You want to bring it across. Bring your back hand down slightly. Bring your back hand down slightly. Yeah, straight across, good. All right, thank you. So, high guard, fall into low guard. Your hand out from your hip. There we go. Back into high guard. Back into low guard. Right rest. I didn't mention this was a drill class, did I? And low guard. High guard. All right. Relax, stand at rest. These are the two basic guards, and then there's the one that can't make up its mind. So we have low, we have high, and then we have what's called the bastard guard. Backhand high, front hand low. Once again, the blade is across to the outside of my opponent's outside of his body. So it's not pointed at my opponent, it's actually across. You need to give yourself room to be able to maneuver your weapon. So assume your bastard guard. Lastly, at rest, low guard, bastard guard. So bring that out a little more. Gotta give yourself room to move. Bring that tip down more. You're gonna want to bring that hand further back. There you go. Don't want to hold it too wide, otherwise you'll lose range. So bring it more across the body. What you're going to find is everything that is working here defensively is going to be by that motion. So you need to give yourself room to be able to do it. Same thing here, a little more across the body. Thank you. And low guard. Just for kicks, right rest. Low guard. High guard. Bastard guard. Okay, good. Relax. I will go check my notes.
Did you say were you teaching a specific master in this?
This is kind of a collaboration that Craig Millet's put together from 16th and 17th century military drill manuals. So I don't claim to have everything, and I don't claim to have exact footnotes, but this is essentially some basic techniques to get people thinking about spear theory. But spear combat tends to be fairly simple in its theoretical outlook. As Millet says, it's a weapon that I can teach you to use in an afternoon, but it takes a lifetime to really kind of master it, because it is just essentially understanding the very simple concepts. Okay. All right. From this, can you stand on guard for me at a low guard? Thank you. There are 3 lines of attack on my opponent. Let's bring your weapon a little more in line. The 3 lines are, the basic one is an outside attack, which is on the outside of my opponent's spear. Does everyone understand the concepts of outside and inside? We're all good on that? Okay. The other one is the inside over his forearm. We have the outside over his forearm, and the other one is just anything under the arm. There's a low line attack. These are the 3 basic attacks. What you'll find is everything tends to operate in 3s in this basic spear. So we have 3 basic guards, we have 3 basic lines of attack, and we're going to move on now to the stepping, and there are 3 basic steps that we have. Once again, as I said, hopefully people will start picking up Degrassi, because the footwork that Millet is teaching is straight out of Degrassi. So on guard, your low guard. What you're going to do in order to make a basic step within spear combat is you're going to take your back foot forward to your front foot, and then you're going to step forward. It's what's called a chasing step. I know it as a gathering step, although other people use other terms for gathering steps. And the same thing backwards. So you're going to bring your front foot to your back foot, and then step back. And we're going to do that again. Front foot to back foot, and step back. And then step forward, step forward, step back, step back. Okay. Now this, together with the footwork, is also a really important decision-making time when you're doing things like feints or cavazione with the spear. This is the moment in which it happens and the attack is exerted. So the step actually kind of divides the time that's going on. Now, there are 2 other types of steps that we're doing, but you won't use them terribly often. The first one is the passage, the passing step, and the only real use for it in what we're doing is in order to change sides, and it pairs up with the other thing that we're not allowed to do in the attack with the spear and SCA rapier, which is the slide. Right? So I've changed my footing, but also, as a result, I also slide my back hand up to my front hand and change my guard. This is allowed, you're just not allowed to attack with it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands up together, and we're going to pass our foot forward, and then we're going to switch our hands and assume a low guard on the other side. And then we're going to pass backwards, switching back to the right hand guard. And pass forward, do it again. Pass back. Pass forward. Pass back. Okay. Alright, so that's the second type of step. The third type of step tends to work a little more with spear and armor. It's a double passage. So what essentially it is I'm going to step forward and then I'm going to pass again to remain essentially where I was. This is a good way to gain ground or give ground, but its primary function actually is when you're in armor, if I've hit my opponent and I've not succeeded in actually putting him down on the ground with it, then I will try and push him through outside the list by passing through like that. So, we're going to do a double passage forward. Good. Double passage back. Double passage forward. Double passage back. Double passage forward. Double passage back. All right, I gotta check my notes. Stand at rest. Okay. So, everything comes in threes, right? We've already visited one of the next things that we're going to do, which are our basic types of attack. Right? We've already met the sliding thrust. You're not allowed to attack like this. Let me say it again, you're not allowed to attack like this. More is the pity, but we are not allowed to. So, the other two attacks that we have are very similar in their nature. The difference is the positioning of the spear. So our first basic attack is essentially a lunge. The spear is extended, body comes forward. So to your low guard. Step back a little if you would please. Step back a little if you would please. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your spear in line with your opponent's inside shoulder, and you are just going to extend it, and then step forward.
Extend.
Yes, don't slide. Extend, don't slide.
Extend.
Yeah. No passage, no passage. It's just that little.
Just a little.
Yeah. Okay. And low guard. And extend. What? Okay, somebody's hands are sliding. Apparently it can be heard.
Okay, yeah, you can't slide with hands.
Yeah.
They're in a fixed position.
And extend. And back. And extend. And back. And extend. And back. If this is seeming at all like bayonet training, it pretty much is. With the spear fighting I started doing, I did my master's thesis on bayonet fighting and shock tactics in the First World War, and so when I first started doing spear fighting, I essentially just resorted to the bayonet techniques I knew. Okay, so that's our first basic attack. The next one is essentially a couched attack. It's fairly similar in nature, it's just we're going to bring the spear up. Now, one of the things I need to also emphasize for SCA rules is it's not here. You are not allowed to do this. This is called bracing or resting the spear.
Resting or bracing the spear.
You're not allowed to do this. But under the arm is fine, provided it doesn't get tangled
In your fabric.
in the fabric, right? So it has to have free range of movement.
Can you show the camera what's not allowed, please?
This is not allowed. Or anywhere else on your body. So I'm not allowed to brace it on my hip. I'm not allowed to, set for horse. I'm not allowed to brace it on my shoulder. But I can bring it under my shoulder, provided it doesn't get braced in my fabric. Okay. And so this is a very similar attack. We're just going to bring it up and extend.
So in period, they would have braced.
Yes, right? In that whole thing with armor, I would have done this, and I would have tried to pass through with that braced in order to push my opponent out of the lists, which is a really important thing when you're doing judicial combat. So, rear guard. And we're going to do a couch thrust, bring it up, extend, and I got to learn my own lesson here. One of the things that you want to avoid, in terms of technique, on our list it won't really matter, but if you want to do it right, the one thing you do not want to do is do this with your elbow up. On our list this doesn't matter so much. On a period list, where wrestling is allowed, you've just given a chicken wing to your opponent. You are about to meet the floor if you do this. So try to keep that elbow low. So, low guard. And couch thrust. Learn my lesson. Recover. And couch thrust. Recover. Couch thrust. Recover. And we've already met our friend. We're going to do it a little more. We're going to switch sides. Sliding thrust with a pass. So we're going to pass through, change which side we have. Pass through, change sides. And then change back. Change forward. Change back. Very good. Let me check my notes.
If I keep it down, it has
Okay. Did everyone bring masks?
Yes.
Yes.
Put them on.
Can we get something like that for heavy fighting? Or it's going to be
Why can't? From the background.
I have to remind people on this particular disclaimer that technically this is an A&S class. There will be no full speed fighting in here.
Seconded. We are just doing basic techniques.
Half speed or less.
Thank you. Okay. So, we're going to go through and do some pair drills here. Well, actually, no, this is not pair drill. What we're going to do, so I had to put the masks on in advance for nothing. Now we just all look good with masks. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to practice some of the compound attack techniques. The first one is the cavazione, which is we're going to bring our foot, we're going to give our extension, we're going to bring our back foot up, starting low. So you're going to raise and bring your back foot up to your front foot. And in that moment, you're going to circle an intended parry of your opponent and continue. Yep. So, stand with the back foot up and give it a circle. Do that 5 times to your satisfaction and then return to rest.
Is it directed more forward or back?
Well, let me give you an example. Here, so you're at me, you bring your back foot up and extend your spear.
Okay.
Go.
And back, extend the spear.
Yep.
And then,
Nope.
Okay.
You're trying to bind me.
okay.
What you want to do is extend the spear straight at me.
Okay.
And if I do this, you then circle,
Ah,
and then continue the attack.
Like
okay.
a disengage.
Yeah.
It's a disengage.
It's a cavazione, yes, a disengage or a circle. So it's just extension of the front foot forward, and then a little twist. How's it going for you? Good.
So feet come up together.
Yeah. So the intention, launch with the feet together.
Okay.
Cavazione is delivered with the step. There we go.
So there is a
Excellent.
step, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Step. Oh,
All right. So, this is one of these things that I'm thinking I'm tinkering with the order of the class, and I'm not having questions about what I'm doing. Okay. The next one is essentially we'll start with a beat. We're going to start looking at what the actual parries are. I'm realizing that my class order is a little out of whack. So if you give me a straight extension, our beat is essentially, and this is why we're keeping the hand out from the hip, is this. So if he gives me an extension, back foot together with the beat, extension. Make sense? So I want you to practice just coming in and straightening the line in an aggressive fashion. You're not trying to whack the opponent's weapon way offline. You're just trying to aggressively take your offensive line. Does that make sense? So, we're going to bring the feet together with the hand coming into the hip, taking the straight line, and then the extension.
Okay.
I will provide target for you.
Okay. So it's to here.
target.
But-
Target, I do that.
Take your straight line. Take my weapon out of line.
No, we target.
Ah, okay. I got it.
Right?
Yes.
But,
And then
yeah, but you just want to take it to your line. You don't want it.
not past.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's
So-
the cross back one. There you go. That's it.
Good. Do that twice more.
We target.
I always wanted to do the pass instead.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it forward too much.
Yeah. Just bring the front, yeah, back foot up to the front.
Yeah, my natural reaction is to do the same thing.
There you go. Okay, do that 5 times on your own. I'm going to walk around the room and see how we're going.
You target.
All day. So you're supposed to be hand out front of that. Because you're supposed to be blocking at that point.
Okay, again, so just give them the extension. Don't worry about the step. So what you're going to do is you're going to, as you bring your back foot up to your front, you're going to take that straight line and then continue the attack through. So do that 5 times and then switch. Okay?
There you go.
So once you've done it 5 times each, you go back to rest, so I know. Oh, if you guys, okay, keep going. So we're good? Okay. So the Clancy, we have the beat, we have, and this is what I forgot in the Ottawa class, which is the mutating attack, which is, I present the attack with the foot together, and I offer him a high line. This is similar to a Cavazione, but I'm not returning to a high line. I'm going to go to a low line. So that if my opponent just did that beat as essentially a parry to my presentation, I would take a low line and then hit it. This is a mutare in Italian, I can't remember the German. Something, mutare, that's what the German is. So, same thing works. If I have a low line and he decides to come and parry it with my feet together, I can go high line. So what I want you to do is I want you to 5 times each, foot up with the presentation, with a high line attack, and then drop to a low line, just by bringing your back hand. Right? It's just a turn of the back hand that changes the line of the attack. 5 times each, then fold the rest.
You know, attack first?
Well, that first?
Sure. Okay.
So,
Present like you're going to attack.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now,
Attack.
it's,
Yes.
Drop it down over there.
You're going to drop it down and finish the attack.
Yeah. Okay. No. Do that again. So I attack.
Good.
You can go to beat parry.
Aim for more lethal
And
parts.
then I go
Okay.
this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a remote.
Ah, there we go.
So attack and go to block. Yes.
You do it now.
I think when you do your initial attack, you're not going to.
One more and then we're going to go over and answer that
Well,
question.
I'm
I'm not coming up at all, I'm not doing that, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Keep practicing that.
So it's together and then that. Yes.
Okay. So let's start. Take it slow through the individual beats.
Remember,
Don't rush through it.
you're-
So we're going to start with the presentation. So foot and feet together, give the presentation. Okay, not a high line.
So you
Just
take
give a
the
regular low line attack. You start with a high line attack, you really got nowhere to go.
Then I
So what you then do in response to this is a beat naturally, right? You bring it up, boom, right there. That's your timer. So do that 5 times each, then fold the rest.
Okay.
Thank you.
So go ahead and attack again. Okay. One more time.
Okay. This is also acceptable. You're doing it all in one. You're doing it what we call in one time because there's only a single step. What I want you to do right now is you do the presentation with the beat together, and then
Here with the beat. And then I flip there. Okay. So.
you're good. You need practice.
yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Do you have a mask here?
I do.
Okay, throw it on. Because I'm having trouble reading this through the mask.
Yeah.
You get to jump in.
Still not doing the real ones.
Well, you've been watching this. And it's only Nerf balls, right? How dangerous are these?
That's not.
Okay, so now we're going to learn essentially the basic defenses, the beats, the binds, all of these things work in the line. So we're all going to start in low guard. I'm going to label this side of the room A. You guys are B. Does that make sense? We're good? So what's going to happen? We're going to make sure that we've got it to the outside of his outside shoulder. Okay. So make sure, adjust so you can get into measure with your opponent. So what's going to happen are the A's are going to just launch a thrust. They're going to take that low line thrust at their opponent. Don't get ahead of the game, B's.
Too
Okay,
many years of fencing, somebody thrust, parry, and counter.
recovered. A's recovered. So, the A's are going to launch that attack again. The B's are going to then bind by bringing their hand into their hip and essentially making that low line parry. This is your first basic parry with the spear. Everyone recover. And I want you to do that 5 times each.
Again? One more? Okay, I agree.
Covered over the first time.
I went too far.
Yeah.
I didn't hold
Okay.
right now.
Don't take it outside of her body.
I'm gonna,
All you need to do is take your line, make sure your spear is offline with you so that you can then attack through that.
there
There.
you go, there's no one.
Huh?
So I want to do that action.
Yeah.
Do that action.
You want to bring it to straight.
And this is not to remove, this is not so that you're overextending and removing the spear completely out of the presence. What you are doing is you are defending while taking an offensive line. This is a prelude to an attack. Have we switched?
No.
Okay, go, do it quickly. Practice it 2 more times each.
You attack. Okay, you got it. We're switched and we're done? Okay.
What?
We're switched, you switched and we're done.
Yeah, you're going it too far over. Yeah, there you go. That's too. Because you want it to be basically
Yeah.
at me.
Thing is, my first instinct is that.
Ah, right. So we have another pair drill that we're going to do here. A's and B's once again. What we're going to do is the evasion to this basic attack using some of the compound attacks we already know. So what's going to happen are the A's are going to, everyone low guard. The A's are going to extend a thrust. B's are going to bind over. A is going to cavazione and continue the attack.
On a low line, high line?
High line.
High line, okay.
Okay.
So this is going to be an important exercise in using the back foot and then the front foot. So the A's, or your A's, right?
We're A's.
Okay, the A's present the attack with the back foot up. Bring your back foot.
There you go.
B's bind. A's cavazione and strike. Do that 5 times each, then switch.
Did that.
Don't come into high guard. Try to maintain a lower guard while doing it.
So,
Got one more.
So we're here. We're going to give me an extension, or she's extending.
Back foot.
Yeah, I think that's step backwards, that was.
So, just
Okay.
let's take it from the very top.
Okay, so one more
So
here.
give the extension, bring your foot up. You get the parry. You're going to bring it.
I put
Boom.
the drop up.
Right. You want to keep it in the low line. You don't. What you've been doing is you're bringing your hands all the way up into the high guard. You don't want to do that.
Yep.
There. That's what you want. Thank you.
Present,
Don't bring it high.
present.
Keep your hands low.
Okay.
Hands low,
Okay.
tip high.
So, I got it, one more time. So,
There you go.
okay.
You're aiming up here with the circle, with the convention.
Yep. And
Try not doing couch
Yep.
thrusts with it. Try to keep it low.
Again.
It'll make a little more sense.
Okay, so step, so, present.
Step, you don't have to do it. Step, there you go.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Let me go.
Yeah.
Can you just hold that for a second? So
So you wanna.
what we're doing, I'm extending my feet together, right? You'll notice I'm not up here, right? If I put myself up here, I have very little place to go. I'm down here. So she comes across, and I just turn, and the extension is still in the low line, not where I was here. Does that make sense? This is a cavazione, not a butaro.
Okay. So, I attack together, block, then I bring it down, up.
Once again, do the presentation with the back foot up.
Here.
It will just clear your timing and make it sharper.
Present for your thrust.
and then
launch
step.
you to a line.
Down here.
Okay,
Yes.
let me back up a little bit. Okay.
Let it clear and then go. Yeah.
These already make so much more sense to me.
You got a mouse one?
So,
Let's go for Spencer's.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Aaron,
Walk through the individual beats smoothly. Don't worry about going fast. Just worry about going through the individual beats in their time. Yes.
This gentleman would like to step in.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Block. There you go.
okay.
He is picking up.
He doesn't have the guard there. I'm getting that part, it's just the.
He's gonna have to learn on the fly.
That's-
As I said, spear in its very elementary techniques is a really easy weapon. It's just finding the nuance and the timing of it. So you want to make sure everything is sharp.
Yeah, so make sure when you thrust your spear at me,
Sorry about your
you're actually looking at me, step back to the
Styles and then put it back together, and that is a bit of a
Back up.
And so look at this going, okay, no, this is the way it's supposed to go, and fluid, I should be doing it this way.
Pull the way of the button off. Yes, you did. So apparently a word of advice is try not to wear big ostentatious buttons while it's air work.
Look, when you just put that back on.
No, I'm sure it's a different one.
So I will,
So, back heel up first, present, I block, step forward.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So here's one thing that's going to help you, is you want to think about actually having this to the outside of his body on this side, and you need to keep your hand away from your hip so you actually have room to be able to move. So that's your basic low guard right there. It's not in line with your opponent, it's across your body is the way you want to think about it.
Okay. You're defending with this.
So do it 2 times more each while we get them up to speed.
Okay, so we going straight? Okay.
Keep away from your body.
Okay.
I keep wanting to bring it down. So maintain the low guard while you're doing this.
When you thrust.
I still have your
Still leaving your head open. But.
That's one of the kind of the weird things about this. The defense often is reliant kind of on armor. So it's not that same sense of,
Right.
I have that clear defense as we see in a sword, and also you'll find that a lot of it comes naturally from the way that you step. When we get into the next blow that we're about to do, you're going to see that the aiming is all in the stepping, and so is the defense. Okay. So, have we done it 5 times each?
Yeah.
Alright. So, we got to teach him how to stand at rest. If you're going to be in right rest, you want your right foot forward. There we go. And you want to just get that placed in there. And arm extended and relaxed. This is how you stand at rest. This is how you would stand as a guard all freaking day. So we're going to build on what we just did. So I want the A's to line up as we did in the last, at the beginning of the last pair of drills. Everyone on guard, low guard. See, it comes naturally. I didn't even have to teach them how to do it. So what we'll want is probably that hand a little further back. Use that range that you got. So what we're going to do is A is going to start by presenting with point. You together present. B is going to cavazione. Oh, sorry, B is going to bind. Basic bind you've been studying.
So snap the
Okay. A's are going to cavazione, but not finish the attack. What's going to happen are the B's are going to learn the opposite line parry.
Come back.
What's going to happen? Okay, yes, we're already at. We're going to essentially, in the low guard, we're going to take both of our hands and we're going to roll them in towards our body. So down and in towards the body. And bring it into the hip. Oh, my poor Nerf ball. So we're going to bring our hands down and in towards the body. Yes, we've already, excellent. So this is the opposite line parry. It's a little peculiar in the fact that it's now taken your point completely offline. This is perhaps a little too radical. You've defended yourself a little too well. Nothing wrong with that, it just makes the follow-up a little bit more difficult. What's going to happen now is the B's are going to take a step, let me see, towards their outside as they extend and thrust at the head. So you're going to step, boom. You're going to take this foot and step it across.
Step across. Come out.
Front foot. Not front foot, not back.
Do it with your front foot.
Okay.
Yes. That way I have your back. Boom, not your
Okay.
face.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to come in here first.
And then
you're going to start your low guard, you're going to start by binding. He's going to cavazione, and then you're going to parry to the inside, and you're going to step your, boom, excellent, right there. Do that 5 times each, then go to rest.
You have to do that.
First, and over, I come across,
Roll in already?
roll,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then you step.
Because roll
step
in.
there, yep,
Yeah.
Down.
Justin, you agree?
okay. So first, cross,
That, well,
come up in.
so the second parry, cross line,
Yep.
so you cross it, bringing my wrist down,
And
that
cross,
hurts
yes.
bad, I can't do that.
You need to parry.
Okay.
So.
In
which case-
Different.
In which case, you're probably going to have to bring the
So
hand
I was
that way.
thinking, my brain says, I'm already offline, if I'm going to take that cross step.
I just needed to know what I could do instead. Okay, go ahead,
Yep,
do that.
So if I.
On that
Flows a lot better. That's that new face.
Go far.
Cross.
Set step.
Yeah, for you, what you're going to want to do is try to figure out the very minimum you can do in order to make that defense.
Okay,
Because by doing that, you are bringing your chip way out of line.
right.
So that may change what you have to do in the follow through.
okay, now do that to me.
You may need to do that passing step.
Make the initial, you have to bring your back foot up to the front.
Expecting that, I know.
Remember, we're only going at half time here.
Have a bead, please.
Okay,
But that's the only finish.
and then step across.
But with your front foot. It's not a
And
passage.
then take it.
Okay. I'll just want to use,
Yeah,
so it's coming across this way.
Yes.
You can attack. Or,
No, I thought it was-
You need to roll in.
there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry. Need to do more drills.
That's the only.
Bead, please.
Oh, I see what the problem is. You're stabbing on the outside line.
And
No,
here,
no,
yeah.
wait, no, I'm confused.
So shoot cavazione.
I can't see it.
What happens is you want to step a little more to this side with your inside foot, and that's what's going to make the difference for you, because you're actually avoiding the spear.
That's the only.
Heck.
So. Okay. Is that?
He's not couching, but you're getting to the point where you're naturally going to start couching. So the one thing you want to remember about that is you're not allowed to brace the end of it against your body, according to our rules. In period terms, I'd say, yeah, do it, and throw it right through the back, but we're not allowed to do that. So just watch that. I see that you're starting to get there, and there's nothing wrong with the couched thrust, as long as you don't get it braced against your body or your clothing. So,
I'll leave the buttons later.
okay. Do it once more each.
Back first?
That's with the wrong foot, something like that.
You're gonna wanna step.
Yeah, no, I know. I just got it wrong.
Okay. We'll do it one more.
Pretty good.
Well, I think we got confused.
Okay. Now we're going to play with the mutards and the low circles. Let me see here. A offers thrust. Okay, so let's walk through this. I will do the instructions that I've written down here, and this gives me a chance to proofread them and see if they're correct. So A offers thrust. That's feet together. Offers thrust. To which B. A offers thrust. Mutates to low thrust by going into the bastard guard. So you're going to bring your hand up. Nope. You're just going to stand there. Roll there. Okay. B binds with motion from low to wide outside bastard guard.
Yep,
Yep, that's
come
it.
down. Yes,
Okay, so.
Yep. And delivers low line thrust.
come back. Yep,
Yeah, except the reflex to that is they block out its mid.
This is just an exercise to start practicing basic techniques.
And make it out of the way.
right.
So where's that little?
I'm initially coming up to this.
Okay, where's?
I come down, right, I feint,
This is
and then follow through. Yep,
you hold that.
okay. Let's do it
Okay,
again.
so we're here. You're going to present, and then you take to low line guard. The one little stipulation there. Everyone hold for a second. one little stipulation there, can we start that again? Which I haven't written down, is what I'm thinking the logic is here, when I was writing this down and didn't bother to express, is that as the thrust is presented, present the thrust.
Oh, absolutely.
With a low line. You're not gonna fool anyone if you start right there. So B is actually gonna do the bind. And then the Mutarin happens. To which there's, wow, what was I thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, but it'll be a front foot, avoid the spear, hit in the hip. Okay, somewhere below. If it doesn't work with the B,
Come out here, you're going to.
the B bind,
Bind over.
eliminate the bind. I may have been thinking this correctly.
And then,
Yes,
reverse it.
you need to reverse it. And then come out. You're okay. You're okay.
That makes much more sense than what I was doing over there.
Yes, let's do this one, not that one.
Rewrite your notes.
So,
This is only the second time I've taught this.
I come to low,
You got a binder?
I reverse.
you reverse, and thrust into the left. Yep.
Okay. One of the things that I've been
Okay,
seeing
let's reverse that up then.
is the parry's on the opposite side.
You make
So
the
that
attack.
2%,
And then you come, change to this.
Yep.
it's that.
Make the step
That makes
into
more sense.
attack there. Like
You okay?
Yeah, I'm,
You are?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm
Take a
coming
minute.
across.
Grab some water if you got some.
I actually
I
brought
can come
the,
here and you go.
my knuckles up like that.
There you go.
And it feels weird in this hand, and then follow through into my leg.
But you came through here and then stepped.
Only because I did a rotation like this.
Okay.
The rotation being on the force. This is exactly the tip point that I did. So
Let's go back through that then.
Okay, start again,
Yep.
and going into this,
Well,
which I then turned into this.
okay, and you
And
went
then you
this way.
basically imitate what I just did.
Okay,
Boom, there you go.
okay.
Try not to bring it
So
right over
I'm
your head.
coming around
Yes.
here. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
you're doing it that way, okay.
Yeah,
That's the way you were doing it.
That's what you were
Oh.
doing. That's what I was figuring. I'm like, no, you want to cross that line. So you came across here and did that.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes much more sense because now you're clear
So-
and step.
Okay.
Yep, yep, yep. All right, let's do it again.
Alright, and then busting,
Coming through there.
slide,
Pop, pop. Yep,
No, I need to be here.
I can make it.
and thrusting, turning. And again, thrusting.
Yes.
A bastard guard is surprisingly useful, right? Everyone knows what's going to come from below guard.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, the bastard guard is really kind of handy. Are you down for the count?
I'm done.
Okay, can I get you to step in here, Jocelyn? So, this is the very last exercise of what's going on today. And we're essentially not building on the routines we've just done. We're just going to use the reverse of the parry we just did. So what's going to happen is B is going to be standing in a bastard guard. Remember where your bastard guard is? But make sure it's across your body.
B.
I will have
Here.
to-
Oh, okay.
But you want to make sure it's across your body.
Ah,
A is going to present and then finish the thrust. B's relax. Chill, everybody. So this is what A is going to do. Try to get into measure to make sure this can work.
Yeah.
Okay? What's going to happen is after the presentation, as the attack gets delivered in earnest, A is going to convert their bastard guard in a wide circular fashion back to a low line guard with the hand into the hip.
Yep.
Okay, so reset. B's in the bastard guard.
Put it up so it blocks your face a little more. You're leaving your face wide open.
Well, no, she isn't actually. She isn't. Go, thrust on her face. Do exactly what I just told you to do. Boom. Her face is guarded. So, A's will present the attack. A's will launch the attack. B's will turn. There we go.
Yep.
And then B's deliver the thrust in the face.
Yep.
Low guard. That's pretty.
Practice that 5 times each.
Wait for you to start.
You're never gonna go back
I
up here.
think I want to bring my hand back, just so my hand is.
She's only getting to the presentation. Presentation is
Okay.
present point, number, and together. and then follow through with your hand.
There we go. Do it again. Sorry about that. Okay, one more. Over here, I'm doing this, and then lunge it. Yep.
Come up here,
So-
watch out,
Okay.
yep, you're coming across, yep. Okay, step out.
Anticipation,
Step your head forward, just forward first, come out to lunge, come to here, come across.
So,
And
I'm
That's
not
the one I
sure.
think is written.
Okay, so I this, and then I lunge. Nicely done.
Be gentle with each other.
After this.
The spear can usually touch the hands, and that is kind of sucky.
Put it right over the high one. Ready?
So I trust these out on Wednesday, when our practice is up.
Yeah, don't do it like that.
She's going,
Here we go, yeah.
say anything about hand protection? Like,
No,
no.
hold on. I'm gonna let you do it.
So she quickly started firing some emails. So there may be a quick revision to the spear rules coming down the pipe about something for the hands.
When I present,
It's a really good idea.
Yeah. In all wisdom, if you are going to fight with spears, I highly recommend you use gauntlets.
yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend it because there's a serious lack of hand protection. Or at least some really heavy leather on the back of your gloves, something to protect your hands.
The difficulty comes when we mix this with rapier.
Yeah.
Which I haven't really done, although I did do within Amos circles. I did do a little bit of sparring with essentially a boarding battle along a plank. Two spear fighters like this, going to your low guard,
I'm shorter than him. Just in
Right.
this direction.
with another spear. No, you
No,
just
don't
stand
kneel,
up.
don't kneel.
With
Just
another
stand.
spear fighter behind,
Take a little guard.
like this. Routinely, the pair of spear fighters took out four people with sword and bucklers.
That's not the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is mixing them when you're doing in movement with the rapier for that hand,
Yes.
on the rapier side.
Yes. But that is the spear class. That is my 1 hour spear class. I have a copy of the syllabus here for anyone who is in the class or anyone who is watching who wants a copy of it. Please come on over.
Take a moment, ladies and gentlemen, thank you